Are you grappling with persistent gut disturbances and finding it challenging to pinpoint the underlying issues? Well, I'm here with Melanie Yukov, who is an integrative nutrition health coach and herbalist. She's here to discuss her four fundamental pillars for promoting gut health that target the root causes. Hi, Melanie. I love that you're here and that you're willing to share how to get to the root cause of gut disturbances. Let's get started. Let's talk about the first key issue to address. Is it diet or nutrition when it comes to underlying gut issues?
Thank you so much for having me. I think that most people think that I would start with diet and nutrition, and that certainly is really important and for sure a part of my coaching, making sure people obviously are eating well, that food is our fuel. But what I find with people actually is that isn't one of the foundational root causes. A lot of times people come to me who are already eating healthy and still don't feel well, or it's people who need guidance in that area. And before I tap into that, I need to make sure there's a strong foundation. And so that ends up being actually emotions. So, pillar number one is that unprocessed emotions lead to toxic habits, which cause and contribute to IBS, leaky gut, inflammation, all of that. So, basically, if we're not dealing with the emotions, we can self sabotage, right? You can relate to that, I'm sure, and
Absolutely.
know people, right? So, self sabotage or making poor choices because we're filling emotional voids, or eating maybe when we're angry or whatever, we're not dealing with those emotions. And so turning to food. This accumulates in our bodies and leads to things like headaches and pain. And that's really just all blocked energy. And that leads to gut dysbiosis as well. So by helping people give a voice to these parts of ourselves that we tend to want to push away really, really helps and is really one of the most powerful things I feel I do in terms of helping people. Because a lot of times when clients come to me, they feel like their body is betraying them. They feel a sense of deprivation, they feel angry, and they feel frustrated by these health issues they're feeling. And in addition, we have like the things in life, right, that bring up emotions, a toxic relationship with someone, a parent, relationship that isn't well, or whatever it is. So, Deepak Chopra says, believe the diagnosis, not the prognosis. And I really love that because it's like, hey, you can be diagnosed with anything, but we really hold a lot of power within us for healing. And a lot of that is rooted in those emotions. And then when I help people reach that deep part of themselves, they intuitively know, what foods are better for them. It's really just tapping into that deep sense of self, and ends up actually increasing positive emotions when you give those other emotions that are trapped a voice.
It's extremely interesting that the first pillar of trying to get to the root cause of your persistent gut disturbances is the unprocessed emotions. And I love that you're available to help people learn the process of working through those emotions. So I'm on the edge of my seat. I can't wait to know what pillar number two is.
So pillar number two is along the same lines. I'm still not even at food yet, right? It's how you eat is just as important as what you eat. I mean, how many of us are, holding the steering wheel with one hand and have the chicken in the other hand? It's our society, we're very go, go, go. And we have all these fast foods, these not necessarily Burger King or McDonald's, but even just bars, right? Shakes, all these like fast types of foods because we can't sit down for a proper meal. So if you feel like you're always in a rush and you're eating, it's like, well, what message are you sending your body? Are you sending your body messages of it's in danger, or are you sending messages of safety? And that's really important, that communication piece with our body. So having enough time to like sit down and enjoy your food, taking a breath before you eat, blessing the food. It doesn't have to be a religious practice. It could just be as a way to increase your connection with food, with your body, with yourself, and allow time to chew it, right?
Mm,
Allow time
yeah.
to chew your food. Take a minute. And actually, in other cultures, they do this. So in Spanish, There's a word called sobremesa, which literally means on the table. And that's because after people eat, they allow the dirty dishes to sit there and they chat and they talk and they, you know, and that's probably changing right now because the world is becoming more fast paced everywhere. But culturally, this is it, just giving ourselves a minute. And I think with families, it's also just even, having a family meal together. People aren't even eating at the same times, right? It's like this one's got swim practice, this one's got whatever. Here, take a bar, let's go. That's actually a really important way to just be mindfully eating and not using your phone while you're doing it. So, how you eat is just as important as what you eat, is my second pillar.
All right, so we've gone through two of the pillars, and I want to pause here real quickly. What do you mean by gut disturbances? What would somebody that is watching this and they're like, okay, I identify with these first two pillars. Maybe I'm guilty of one, maybe I'm guilty of the other. How do they know that their
Right.
gut is might be off?
So if you have like gas and bloating often, you'll know like a little gas, a little fart here and there, right? But but you'll know if it's a problem. Like if it's keeping you up at night or if you're waking up bloated or you're noticing that like you're feeling too full shortly and you're not even done with your meal, or if you're noticing that even drinking water makes you feel bloated, or if you're noticing like you're not having solid bowel movements, you see undigested food, or the color is too yellow, or it's too sticky and hard. Sorry to talk about poop, but it is what I
Important.
do. It's too sticky and hard to wipe. There's lots of signs that would tell me, like, oh, having difficulty digesting fats, having difficulty digesting foods in general. There's lots of like clues when somebody talks to me. Then there's also just having really weird food reactions and sensitivities. People are like, oh, I just can't eat mango. Oh, I just can't eat, cashews, like whatever. But actually, that's like not necessarily a normal thing. And that's a sign of leaky gut, that, you're getting these like weird food sensitivities, and your gut needs to probably do some healing. And then there's people who have more severe things and they know, like they have blood in the stool or something like that. IBS is something, but there's also IBD, Crohn's, colitis, gastroparesis, gastritis. There's also these diagnoses where one could feel, for example, reflux issues, right? Heartburn issues chronically, or have like a dry cough all the time and not realize that cough is actually reflux, things like that. Chronic sinus issues.
Who would have known? Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
chronic sinus issues are usually a sign of mold toxicity, parasites. I think that people feel lots of different things and they don't know how to connect the dots, right? To know, like, okay, this is this or this is that. But they do know when they don't feel well, right? So
Right.
somebody can just come to me and tell me their symptoms. I don't diagnose, but I might say, oh, these symptoms sound like it could be X. We should do the XYZ test, or go to your doctor to ask for XYZ test to see, like, how are you absorbing food? How is your mitochondrial functioning? Are there signs of candida overgrowth? Whatever it is.
Thank you so much for bringing clarity on some of those symptoms that people could feel if their gut might not be functioning at its best. Let's
Right.
go on to pillar number three.
So the first two so one was about emotions, one was about how you eat, and this next one is about getting out of fight or flight. I do so much work on the vagus nerve, and the reason is it's huge. I mean, it's become kind of like a catchword, like, oh, vagus nerve. But really, what is it about? It's just about us being in a more relaxed state, that yes, we have to have this part of us that knows how to be reactive in a situation where we need to be. But the problem is we're too much in that sympathetic rather than parasympathetic part of our nervous system. So I do a lot of vagus nerve work. I help people and I help myself do things to stay grounded. And a lot of us have heard things like take cold showers, or there's yawning, sighing, gargling till you cry. I mean, there's lots of ways to stimulate the vagus nerve. What I do is I help people with moving energy using their hands in the right direction, similarly to how you would go to an acupuncture person and they would put needles in you, and that works on your energy meridians. I do it helping people using their hands. So I tell them where to massage, tell them where to tap and help them balance their energies. And I also use a lot of breath work, sometimes myofascial release work as well. And so just helping people to stay grounded. So I teach practices where, for example, if you wake up early and you can't fall back to sleep, okay, do this breath thing. Oh, my clients are telling me, oh, I can sleep now because I do this breath thing, right? So it's just having these tools and knowing what to pull out when you need it. Breathing one for when you can't go to sleep. I like to do Peacemaker, which is taking your middle finger, which has a lot of power, putting it behind your ear, breathe in your nose and out your mouth, stimulating the back of your throat when you breathe out, and the exhale is longer than the inhale. One last one.
That's it?
That's it. Do you feel more relaxed?
Yeah,
I mean,
I
it's
love
pretty
it.
simple. Yeah, it really is good. And the other one I wanted to share was earthing is such a big catchword now too. Yeah, taking off your socks and shoes and putting them in the grass. It's like we're calling this a name, but we did it as kids and didn't think twice. But okay, well, what if you're at the office and you can't take off your socks and shoes and you need to get grounded? You're feeling frazzled and overwhelmed and you cannot take your socks and shoes and put your feet in the earth. What can you do? Well, believe it or not, you can take a stainless steel spoon. You'll know if it's stainless steel if it sticks to like the refrigerator or a magnet. Most spoons are. You take it and you put it and you go like this on the bottom of your feet. And
You
I
rub it on the
swear to
bottom of your
you,
feet. Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
I
Okay.
swear to you that balances the energy and it's similar to being able to put your foot on the earth. So if you can't, who doesn't
Use a
have a
spoon.
spoon?
That's so interesting. All right, we're moving on to pillar number 4, and this is our last pillar.
Pillar number 4 is a really hard one. I'm going to actually make it twofold, which is becoming the non-doer. So we're always doing, right? And I feel like myself, my clients, and so many people I meet measure themselves by what they can accomplish, right? It's like the list, doing this, getting things done, especially as a mother, right? You're always feeling like you need to get all these things done, you need to do the list. And I also feel that the clients who come to me, they're doing so much work to try to help themselves heal. They're always doing this and that and this. And sometimes it's good to just take a breath and just do nothing. Lie in a hammock, give yourself more time to rest. And that might be a great moment to also give yourself some compassion because I find that that is the hardest emotion for people to feel is really self compassion. Like, I'm doing a good job. I'm doing the best I can. I deserve to take this time for myself. I deserve to take this break and just be. That's a huge one. I also think that the morning is a really integral time to be able to focus on yourself. And one of my favorite things to do is 20 minutes of morning sun. Like first thing in the morning, getting out in the sun. I like to do my stretches by a pond under a tree before it's too hot and just kind of, just sitting there. This is a hard one for me. I used to be FOMO, fear of missing out was like the story of my life. I would always be going and doing and going and doing and going and doing. And I'm really forcing myself to be still.
Do you put yourself in timeout? That's a good thing.
Yeah, essentially, right?
Hmm. That sounds amazing. Thank you so much. So we covered 4 pillars, which actually were out of 6 of the pillars. Everyone doesn't know that. You actually have
Mm.
6 pillars that can contribute
Yes.
to dysfunctional gut health. And we've gone through 4 of the pillars, which included unprocessed emotions. The second one was how you eat is just as important as what you eat. Number 3 was get out of fight and flight. And number 4 was become the non-doer, AKA put yourself in timeout, enjoy
Yes.
doing nothing. Like I said, there's still 2 more pillars. So how can listeners get the rest?
So I had a class that was available on the 6 pillars, which is no longer available, but for people who DM me or email me at info@roottorisewellness.org, you will get this free class that goes through the 6 pillars. I also just want to leave you with another tidbit, which is There is a movie right now, currently, Amazon Prime has it for free. It's called Heal, and it's a documentary. And I really would encourage everybody to watch it. It is really wonderful, and a lot of what's spoken about in that movie is part of my 6 pillars. And so I would watch that movie on Amazon and DM or email me, and you will get the free class. You're also welcome to book a call with me, a risk-free call, if you feel like you have some health issues that you are struggling with and want to work through. What I love about this is I want to leave you with some hope, or want to leave listeners with hope, which is that in this movie, she talks about how they interviewed people from all over the world who had radical remissions from incurable diseases, right? And they wanted to see what was common between them. How did they really heal? What was common between them, no matter what their diagnosis was, that allowed them to get past this, stage 4 cancer or whatever it was. And she talks about these 8 things that are common to them all. And some of them are the ones I talked about, which was the emotional healing. And then there are others, which are in my class. And something else is they all worked on connecting with their purpose for living. So I think that really feeling your purpose, like, why am I here? That's the root chakra, right? So that's like your purpose in life. Why am I here? That's really important. And also deepening your spiritual connection. So you don't have to be religious. That's not what this is about. It's about deepening your spiritual connection. So herbs, supplements, and diet and nutrition are important, and I do work on them, but I just wanted to bring these really important pieces in because they really are foundational.
It's always a joy to spend time with you, have you share your knowledge, and this has been just extremely interesting information that I can't wait to apply. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.